Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. We're back in Undead Purgatory. We're going to use bonfire ascetic to bump this level up, or this area up to New Game Plus. The reason we're doing that is I want to get the Chloranthy Ring +2, and to do that you have to come back to Undead Purgatory once you've used the ascetic. Sorry, pardon me. It also resets the torturers and the Black Phantom with the Ultra Greatsword. I'm not going to show you the torturers because they're more or less the exact same as they were before, but just with a lot more health and they hit a bit harder. This guy, it doesn't matter whether you kill him, he'll respawn every time you come back here once you've used the ascetic. I just avoided him because it's the same fight over again, apart from the fact he's got more health. I use a tower shield because you really need it once it's been upgraded to New Game Plus. These skeletons seem to hit a bit harder. The necromancers have more health. They seem more aggressive as well, the skeletons. They're much more in your face. They're unrelenting, they want to keep getting at you. And the chariot seems to have a better chance of avoiding them this time around. Whereas in New Game, you know, more or less every time the chariot comes round, it's going to hit them. You can actually, I found out recently, you can actually use alluring skulls in here to distract the skeletons while you take out the necromancers. Or basically throw it into the middle of the path of the chariot and get the chariot to do the hard work for you. So we're doing quite well here. I'm going to show you an alternative way to deal with the skeletons. If you come down to the bottom of the path here, if you stand here, the parts protruding out of the chariot will actually avoid you and just go over your head, and then the chariot will do a lot of the hard work in terms of taking the skeletons out. So I think I've done quite well up until this point. This wasn't my first attempt in New Game Plus. So using poison here on the horse, and you can see I'm taking quite a lot of the health off the horse. The poison doesn't work as well in New Game Plus as I thought it would actually. I also believe the horse is susceptible to aromatic ooze and gold pine resin, so they might be actually a better choice if you're using a bonfire ascetic here. You can see, I mean, its health is going down, but it's just like ticking down ever so gently. The horse is a bit more aggressive in New Game Plus, and it hits a lot harder as well. So I didn't quite succeed that time, and I think this was probably like my third or fourth attempt, maybe more than that actually, because I did have a lot of attempts in this New Game Plus. So eventually I changed over from the sword to the hammer class weapon. So yeah, I would advise just ignoring him. Maybe you want to kill him once to get the experience of how he plays in New Game Plus or how much health he has. But really, honestly, just if you're having trouble in Undead Purgatory, just ignore him and run past him. You can actually roll through the chariot's spikes if you time it well enough. And another good technique is, once you've taken that necromancer out, is to actually come over to this side. It buys you a wee bit of time against the skeletons, so that you're not standing there for like 5 or 6 seconds holding your shield up. Especially in New Game Plus, where, like I say, they're more aggressive and they seem to hit harder. And a couple of times I actually broke my guard while I was attempting to beat this area in New Game Plus. And another thing you can do is you're not in a desperate rush in here. I didn't succeed that time. I just wanted to show you that technique exists where you can just take your time. You're not in a hurry. I think the area gives you this impression that you've got to rush. The music, the stampeding of the chariot, it makes you think you've got to do the level or the area quickly. But you can actually just take your time, and once you've killed the necromancers, take as long as you want to kill the skeletons that are controlled by that necromancer. The skeleton that we seen in the last video, the last skeleton we seen, he's controlled by the necromancer further along. It's only these guys up here that are controlled by that necromancer, the one we just took out. Another thing that can be useful here is to use the more powerful life gems, like the radiant life gem, because it just, you know, it restores more of your health, it lasts longer. Yeah, it can be useful in here, especially in New Game Plus. Something that I found quite annoying was if players, you can see he's controlled by the other necromancer. If players use their orange soapstone signs in these recessed areas, I had died a number of times because I couldn't swap to my shield once I'd two-handed my weapon because there was an orange soapstone sign in there, and the game was thinking I was wanting to, you know, cycle through the sign or a blood stain, or very tedious. But that's Dark Souls for you, and you just have to get on with it. So we're doing okay here. This is the one where I actually succeed. Anyway, by this point I had spent quite a long time trying to defeat this area, but that's, you know, you should anticipate that, I suppose, if you're trying to take on an area that's been boosted by the bonfire ascetics. An area that was already kind of a wee bit challenging anyway. And as you can see, I'm just taking my time here. I don't want to rush anything. And I use a gold pine resin, I think, here, rather than the poison this time. I do like this boss fight. I just think the horses the horse has really good tracking. Maybe it could be toned down a little bit. I suppose they're like the boars from Dark Souls 1, in the sense that maybe you're actually better to roll into their attack, especially the charge attack, rather than kind of rolling to the side or rolling away from it. And that was probably my fault, because I hadn't done that in most of my attempts against the horse. And I don't like that when you get caught against the wall and the horse. I should have rolled there quicker. I think it might help as well, even though I'm kind of tanking myself up a wee bit here by putting on like Vengarro's helmet and using a tower shield. Maybe it's actually better to keep your you know, your equip burden below, is it 60%? Yeah, below 60% to get a kind of faster roll. And I was lucky that the horse was choosing to use its dark breath attack rather than kind of charging me all the time. And by this point, once I'd got it down to like the last dregs of its health, I was panicking, especially at this point where I'd just lost most of my health. And luckily it got caught in a kind of loop there. Definitely in some kind of loop. But that was to my benefit there. Again, I'm really I kind of got a slow roll on here, but as soon as it went for its dark breath attack, I thought, yes, I've done it, and I was so happy at this point to get the Chloranthy Ring +2. And then I tried the Chloranthy Ring +2. I actually thought it was going to be a major, you know, benefit and a major difference to what I'd experienced before with the Chloranthy Ring +1. And you can see how happy I am here. I actually chose the right emote here. And then I tried it out and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But it's better than +1, I suppose. And the more I've used it, the happier I am with it. But I think at the time, I was thinking I don't really see much difference here at all. I really like the look of this tower shield. It's quite smart looking. I've started using a new armour actually in the game. or I'm just about to start using a new armour. I've had this Alva set on for quite a long time, and recently I picked up, I'll just tell you the name, it's not a spoiler to know its name, it's the Llewellyn set. I picked up a couple of pieces of it, and it's a dark set. It's lighter than the Alva set, but it confers a lot of physical resistance and defence once you upgrade it a wee bit. Only problem is it takes twinkling titanite rather than just normal titanite. I got a few of these during my playthrough, the lizard staff. And I hope you heard the whispering there. I can definitely hear it with my headphones on. I've said that before, but I don't know, maybe I'm just hearing it and I need to go and see the doctor. Yeah, I said that Alluring Skull's working here. Never tried it, but apparently it does. And I actually picked up something that allowed me to get Titchy Gren's dialogue. He's still there. Not going to bother fighting him for the reasons I've stated before. Apparently in New Game Plus, the journey to Undead Purgatory is much more difficult in actual New Game Plus, not just the bonfire ascetic version. Apparently it's lined with red phantoms. So we'll use these red eye orbs and sell them to, what's his name, Gavlan. But yeah, I picked an item up that allows me to get his dialogue, and you'll see that in future episodes. In the next episode we're going to do Belfry Luna. Thanks for watching.